everybody. This is Jordan, Crohn's veteran. Thanks for joining us on our podcast here. I'm with my awesome co-hosts, Renika Wood and CJ Cabrera. How you guys doing today?
Hey.
We are very grateful and very honored to have a very special guest with us today, Nicky, and she's here to tell us her story, her IBD story, and we're happy to have her. So, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you all doing? I'm glad to be on the show today.
We're glad to have you.
Very happy to have you here. And yes, I mean, I think all of us have just been kind of itching to talk to you. So, so first things first. For people that don't know you and for people that are listening, tell us a little bit about your journey and just that.
Okay, so my journey started at the age of 16. I'm 40 years old now, so I've been fighting this journey for 24 years. I am not the person who I was back when I was 16. She was a teenager, frustrated, mad, confused, you name it. But through the grace of God, I've been able to grow through my journey of the ups and downs to find grace and be humble and be able to accept what is and keep on living. Just a little bit to start where everything began. I started off with having a flu, and the flu progressed into me having severe diarrhea, which then progressed to not being able to keep anything down, basically just drinking fluids. Primary doctor did a test on me called a cigostomy in the office, which was extremely painful. I was not sedated or anything. And that is, if nobody knows what that is a shorter version of a colonoscopy, but you are awake when everything is taking place. That in turn showed him inflammation, which he then sent me to a GI doctor, and I went through a series of tests, and the colonoscopy and the rest of the tests confirmed that I did have Crohn's disease along with colitis. And when I say colitis, I do not mean Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. I mean colitis itself, meaning the inflammation in the colon. Most of my Crohn's disease takes place in my small intestines and down in my rectum. So that's where the most damage has been done to me, which over the years I've went through 7 surgeries, and my most recent surgery is I want to say what gave me the opportunity to embrace life a little bit more, appreciate life a little bit more, live life a little bit more. And that is having a permanent colostomy. It saved my life. It gave me life, and it gave me my voice to be able to allow my journey to be an inspiration to others.
Definitely. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, we all know that, having Crohn's disease is, a struggle, and so that's kind of what, for people that don't know, that's what Crohn's veteran is about. Anybody that has Crohn's, has colitis, has these conditions has earned their stripes. They're warriors, they're soldiers, and so that includes you, and that's why you're here telling your story, is because, waking up and going through the day, you have to do some amazing things. Yeah. So thank you. So thank you for sharing that. And, I've had 7 surgeries. I've had some experiences that made me really appreciate life, like you're talking about too, from very, very life-changing, painful experiences type thing. Absolutely. So, but I won't babble too much here. I'm gonna let like CJ and Renika talk to you.
Well, for me, I'm just once again happy to meet you. We do like a lot of talking back and forth. You and I in our inboxes, girl stuff. Yeah, definitely. So it's a pleasure. I was like, you guys got to get her up here. Just such an awesome individual. I know you working with being an ambassador with Melodie, and with her, she have going on. So like your voice is very important to be heard, and I feel like as African American women, there are a lot of things we may go through. It may not get the treatment we may need. So have you had any experiences with going through any type of tribulations with your medical doctors about certain medical options treatment you may need?
When I was in my younger years, you know, at 16, I was still underneath of my mom's insurance. So
Okay.
when it came time for me to switch over to adult insurance, I was denied. So I went a whole year, almost a year and a half really, without insurance, waiting on the state to pick me up because I had a pre-existing case. And I later learned down the line, the judge told me that I was never supposed to be denied because my mom worked for the government, and the procedure that takes place for me to switch over should have been, you know, swift and dry, but it wasn't. But in that time, I lost my first doctor. During that time, I was taking Remicade. There's no way in the world I could have paid for Remicade out of my pocket.
I don't think anybody can.
Right. I couldn't pay for no co-pays, you know, and at that time, I'm going to the doctor every other week. So $50 copay, I couldn't do it. I wasn't even working at the time because everything had went downhill for me. So that's one of the biggest things that I've had as far as medical wise, dealing with the doctors and insurance, also financial wise. I mean, I'm lucky that there are some programs out there that will help you pay for your medicines because the biologics that I've been on, after Remicade, it was Humira, after Humira it was Cimzia, and now I'm on Stelara. Those are thousands and thousands of dollars that I would have had to pay to try to stay alive on those medications, and it's not going to happen.
Right,
So,
and that's what people know. I mean, it's like that. You know, our healthcare system is definitely not designed for Crohn's disease.
No, it's
So-
not.
It's crazy that we have to pay so much money to try these things, you know, just to try it. It's not even guaranteed that it's going to work.
And that's the other side of the coin. Even with my colostomy, you know, I pay attention a lot to some of the other people in the community on Instagram. And just like Renika was saying, you know, they have really nice supplies over in UK and Canada. We cannot get there. And when I say good, I mean, you know, it's important when you have a colostomy that you have a flange that seals well. You know, it's important you know, it's important that you have a bag that doesn't leak. It's important that you have the borders that you can put around to help prevent the leakage. You know, all that is, I mean, that's a self-conscious thing in yourself when you even have a colostomy. You're trying to make sure that everything is secure and fit, you know, and I just really, I've even spoken to my doctor because I told my doctor, I said, you know, I think it's really crazy that, you know, I can't even order certain hernia belts. Like I have a hernia right now. I can't even order they have really nice hernia belts that would really be beneficial, you know, but it really is a lot of work that needs to be done to raise the bar as far as our healthy quality out here, because it's not where it needs to be at all. You know, a lot of times, you know, like I said, back when I was 16, you didn't hear Crohn's. You didn't even know what Crohn's was. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you've had Crohn's almost as long as, because I've had Crohn's since 95 and I'm 39.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, I mean, you know, you walk around, and then definitely not support groups. Like this is my first time being able to be in support groups with people of my same color. I didn't join support groups because I didn't feel like I would be even comfortable with somebody to understand what I'm going through.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So a lot of times, you know, my support was God. That's who my support was, you know, and trying to figure out and research on my own. Because even in walking in my doctor's appointment, I don't see a lot of Blacks, you know, so it's like, you know, what do you do? But at the same time, I've learned that I have to be an advocate for myself, you know, because if I don't research and find out what's going on and stay on top of my game and stay alert of what's going on with the disease, I'm going to fall by the wayside.
No, I agree with you 100%. You know, I think that the whole medical practices, I know my GI doctor does the best that she can. She's awesome. My colorectal surgeon, on the other hand, you know, we kind of like butt heads a lot because I go in there, I'm like ABC 1, 2, 3. Miss Wood, I got the ABC. Yes, I need this done. Well, okay, because you're not going to tell me how I feel.
Right.
I'm not taking all these Perceptin and all this. I'm not doing that. Prednisone, I'll do a short dosage of, but because now I feel like you're just trying me. Right. So it's very important to be an advocate for yourself because we know our bodies. That's right. Like doctors, once again, they know the medical side of it. But I don't want to say, because I'm a therapist, so when my clients ask me, do I have addiction? I said, no, why can you help me? So I'm like, well, dang, that makes sense, but still I can help you. My doctor doesn't have Crohn's. how can she help me? But they helped me on their side. But the token of it is that on my side, I got to still be advocating for myself on a constant basis.
Absolutely.
Down with the suppliers.
Absolutely.
I just sent like a box of supplies today. They sent me like 30 ostomy bags, whatever. And it was the wrong bags. And I was like, you guys have made a product that is paper thin and clear and transparent to where the plastic is about as thin as a razor blade. And I said, how do you think I'm comfortable wearing this product? And there's this type of security to it. Well, Miss Will, they wasn't selling, so we had to give them back. I was like, no, he goes mine back. I don't want these. So I had to go through a trial and error. They don't want to give me my supplies back. They don't want to credit me. I paid $1,000. They told me I paid $1,000 to get my news products. I was like, wait a minute, pause. I was crying. I was so mad. I was hot. So, but I do understand what you're saying about supplies, about other countries that have like the top of the notch medical equipment. Some get this for free. Like, you know, them black bags, them bags nice.
They real nice.
You know.
I'm trying.
They real nice.
You gotta find a way to bring them.
Squeeze over there and get some because they real nice. They some really nice bags.
we got to connect with some people over there that we friends with the community. Right. Say, you know what? If I can get us some, I pay you for them. Right. You know, you gotta make make it work for you, and you can.
I mean, one thing I can say, I will say I do have an awesome medical team. All the way down from my primary doctor to my GI doctor, even down to my colon rectal surgeon. I mean, I have top-notch doctors.
I'm glad to hear that.
And the one, and you know, I'm big on, if I don't know you, I have to make myself comfortable with you. And one thing about your colon rectal surgeon doctor, you don't see him all the time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I appreciate the fact that he checks in on me. You know, sometimes my follow-up visit is just basically just to find out what's going on in life. You know, It doesn't always have to pertain to just, you know, my Crohn's disease. You know what I mean? But I will say my team is excellent. I will give it to him. And I have the best care when I do go in the hospital, and they provide me with the best care when I come home. So knock on wood, I've been blessed in that area, because that in itself can be very stressful, very, very stressful.
Mm-hmm. It can be.
Yes.
It can be. I had made a video beforehand. I was like, I went to the doctors about 3 months ago, and my nurse practitioner, she was so sweet when I got there. I was like, where's Casey? They said, well, Casey not working no more. I said, what? I just started crying because I was in the hospital. Right. She would leave work, would come sit at the hospital with me, want her time off. Like, I got a very supportive system, but that medical treatment and support and that cohesiveness is a big deal when you're going through all the emotional distress, the physical distress, psychological distress. So having a team is very, very important.
Yes, I agree, Renika. I'm not going to lie. Before I started Stellara, my nurse left. Like, literally, as I was getting my last infusion for Entyvio, she was telling me that she was leaving, and then my heart broke. But I was low-key happy because Stellara, you can take it at home, and you don't have to go to the hospital. So there's that, and it's always the thing about having a support system inside the hospital. Yeah. Like, when you know you have that one nurse or that doctor who knows how to do his job and who actually cares about you, it means the world. But when you're just dealing with people who, you know, are just doing their job and don't really care, it's just extremely frustrating. Yes, it is.
Yeah, you know, I've had I've had 2 major surgeries and also when I had my second surgery, from what I've been told that, you know, I didn't have really good medical staff. I just didn't like the GI doctor was like kind of almost like too much of a technician. Like he had like no bedside manner whatsoever. Like, you're just kind of a number. You're almost like just a body to him and stuff like that. And so because of that, like I was telling CJ and Renika, you know, there was key information that he probably could have told me but didn't, and so like, you know, so I have my ileum, you know, removed, and as a result of that, I have bile acid malabsorption, which is like something like 1 in 100 people or something like that, and so on top of Crohn's disease, I have that going on, and so it was like something like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years before I actually knew that I had bile absorption type thing. you know, because literally no one told me. They told me that my ileum had been taken out, and this is, you know, this kind of what that is. But I thought, you know, I was like, but and so when I went on biologics like Remicade and stuff, they're like, oh yeah, Jordan, you should feel a lot better. And I was like, nah, I really don't. And I feel this is like getting an IV full of water type thing. And so that's how it kind of became determined. So, but that was because I had a good medical staff at that point in time, right? And so, but that was like, you know, that was several years apart to kind of find these people, because they also don't like, if you don't like your GI doctor, it's also difficult to say, I don't like you, I want to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't really know where to go.
Yeah, somewhere, anywhere, anywhere but here type thing.
Right.
So
yeah. Go ahead,
do it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I was going to, so I'm, you know, I'm interested, you know, that, you know, so outside of Crohn's disease and all the trials and tribulations of that, you know, what are some things that you're interested in, you know, besides, in your day-to-day life?
Oh, wow. So I love spending time with family, being a mom. My son I call him my miracle. And that's because when I was 25, I lost my first child, and I was told that I couldn't have children because of Crohn's. During that time, Remicade didn't have all the perks that it has now. You know, it was new on the market, and I was actually scared to start Remicade because if Jordan, I'm sure you know, if you're starting out young, back then my first medicine was Asacol. It was basically, you know, you basically took pills when you started off. Then as you know, medical things started to transcend and grow, that's when you come along with the biologics. But in my mind, you're going to give me an IV that's going to withstand in my body for this long period of time. That's some powerful stuff.
You know what I mean? You know, hours.
So, right. So I'm still young, and I'm like, I don't know if I want that. But at the same token, nothing else is working. So, you know, you kind of in between, and you got to make that decision. And then making that decision, it kind of threw me off when I was told, like, oh, you can't have children. So I'm like, well, you mean tell me I done took this medicine and now this is what's putting me in shock to not have, you know, that's crazy, you know. But, and I love children. I've always worked with children. So for me, it was a tough moment to hear that, you know, but by the grace of God, 4 years later, here he is, you know, and he definitely gives me strength to keep going. Along with that, just being able to, again, I can honestly say having my colostomy has allowed me to be able to explore life more. Because before I would shelter myself. One, because I hated that I had to always have to go to the bathroom. I hated that, you know, I was always sick, you know, so a lot of times if I'm going out, I'm not eating in front of him, you know what I mean? And you know, or I'm pumping myself with Imodium, and then I got to deal with being bloated for the next 4 days to try to get this stuff out of me, you know? So it's just being able to enjoy life more. Like now I can go swimming, you know, I can go to the park and not worry about having to go to the bathroom, you know? So,
people I'm just
learning to live.
Right.
I'm learning to live and not exist. I think before I was just existing, and now I'm learning to live. And that's by any means that I have to do. If that means I got to go out here and sit in the park by myself, I'm going out here and sit in the park by myself.
You better talk about it.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Along with sending up these prayers, because I know it ain't nobody but God keeping me going.
That's right. I agree 100%.
Awesome. That's so awesome. So, CJ?
No, I'm good, bro. I don't got nothing.
All right.
CJ said, don't be putting me on the spot like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to make sure that, you know, I'm trying to make sure that everybody, you know, gets a good chance to talk to you and stuff like that. But yeah, but you know, I definitely know about being, you know, sheltering yourself. I mean, this whole podcast, you know, this Crohn's veteran, just being on Instagram, all of it is an exercise in just that.
That's right.
You know, it's stepping outside, so to speak. Right. And so, because like I said, you know, I was definitely not interested in being on social media when I was, you know, having diarrhea myself every 2 to 3 hours, you know, for years. Like I said, years. Right. And you know, and even now, the planets have to align for me not to be sick. type thing. So because I have medicine that helps me, stops that chronic discomfort or whatever. But even on top of that, it's like eating the right food, because it's kind of like, so now I can actually eat food that's Crohn's friendly. But
and what's the right food, Jordan? What's the right food? Because I haven't ran across the right food.
I misspoke. I misspoke, because you are right.
Because one day it might be some broccoli, the next day it might be some chips. I don't know.
No, that's hilarious, because you're absolutely right. Because I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'll say this: I can eat things day to day. So that changes day to day. I can eat things that don't make me sick.
Yeah.
And so, but at the same time, if I'm stressed out, that can kind of wipe out the eating quasi right.
Absolutely.
And also, the medicine itself. So it's kind of like, I gotta, kind of just be in the right, mind frame, and right, just all the way around, for to actually be well. So I'm kind of in a journey right now to, I've cut out toxic people and toxic substances type thing. And so I feel better that I've, stepped out. I mean, I think I'm about 7 months out from like quitting smoking cigarettes and stuff like that. And it's just terrible for Crohn's disease.
That's awesome.
And then also, I don't drink or anything like that, because the surgery kind of messed that up. Just getting, just out of toxic situations with people and stuff. And so that's, so it's amazing what you have to do just to be well.
Yeah, you're right. And, and you saying that, when I look back over my journey over the years, that wasn't me, you learn as you go along, and especially if you don't have the support to show you, like, there's a better way, so now me, I've always been just the occasional drinker, but I even find now, like you say, even with having surgeries, I can't throw it back like I used to.
Right. I don't even want to.
And if I am, I need to be home, because I know I gotta keep going to the bathroom. What I mean? So it's just the changes. But I definitely agree. The stress, alleviating as much stress as possible is so important, and at times it's difficult, because I know, some people look at you, when you say you want to be the inspirer and motivate, like, the strong one, you're not supposed to have bad days, but we're human,
right.
So that's definitely something
that's all I know.
To
right.
Me,
it's
that's
like,
all I know. What you mean?
Right.
No, it's called Tuesday.
Exactly. My normal Tuesday.
Exactly. So that's definitely something that, and with anything, it will trigger Crohn's in a minute. Crohn's,
yes.
It will trigger your disease in a minute. I can be fine, but let something come along and I start just literally just thinking about it, anything, my stomach get the queasy, anything, so that stress level definitely has to be balanced out, along with, like you said, alleviating toxic people, toxic things, the environments that you're in, you definitely have to find balance. I'm still learning it, but I will say I'm definitely not where I used to be, because before I would let people run all over top of me. I'd be running from here to there. And by the end of the day, I'm wiped out and still fighting, trying to figure out how I'm going to get up the next morning, so you definitely have to find balance. You really, really do have to find balance. And I think that, like I said, as you go along, you learn and grow, and you start to wean out the things that are not helping you, and you start replenishing them with things that are going to be, substantial to helping you keep going,
Right. My question is, you saying about you have a total end colostomy now, correct? So what is some of the encouragement you give to persons that are newly diagnosed or newly been informed that they have to go through this transition of having an ostomy? Because ostomy is something that it's a big life transition if you're not mentally prepared for it. I know I fought it tooth and nails. I fought it because I know I wasn't prepared for it 3 years ago. I had to wait until I was prepared for it. But what is some encouragement or words you can provide to someone that has been told, like, say today, that next week you have to go get a total end or either a colostomy or ileostomy or whatever, what kind of words would you give that person?
Well, let me just say this, Renika. I didn't have that opportunity to even think about my colostomy.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I went in for my colonoscopy on a Saturday, and on Monday, I was told I had to have emergency surgery.
Okay.
So, I don't know if that has allowed me to have a little more grace with myself.
Mm-hmm.
I have always told myself, and I've always had my prayer with God is that thank you for allowing me to be a mom. Now I ask you to just strengthen me to continue to be a mom.
Okay.
And for me, when I was told, now I've had the talk about colostomy, but never enough where I thought it was going to be me. Okay. So when it came down to it actually happening and the way that it went about, I didn't really have time. It was my prayers to stay here. So if this is what I gotta do, and I'm going to have to go along at the end and figure it out after it's done. Now, with that being said, I wanted it to be a secret. I didn't want nobody to know because I didn't know how I was going to be received. I didn't even know how I was going to be able to look at myself. You know, like you said, and one thing I can say, even though there are support groups out here for ostomies, you have to be comfortable with yourself first. It's not easy to sit in front of people and talk about that. It's not easy to show it. People say to me all the time, I can't believe that you show it. That was not always me. It was easy for me to put on some high-waist pants and keep it moving. You know, it was easy for me to put on a big shirt so you wouldn't see the bulge. Coming out of the hospital, your stomach is still swollen, you know, but it's just the things of that. Once I weigh my pros with my cons, my pros is that I'm still living and breathing. Right. So if I can tell anybody, nothing, no adversities that we go through are supposed to define you. They're supposed to help you grow. And if anything, this has helped me grow. It has helped me appreciate life more. It has allowed me to learn how to live. And it has also allowed me to spread my voice. Because I used to talk about my disease, but nowhere near like I talk about it now. And it also has allowed me to accept who I am, because this is me. You know, I named my ostomy because I wanted it to connect with me, you know, and in doing that, it has also allowed me to help others see that it's no different than I was walking yesterday. It was no different. This lady had 2 prosthetic legs. She was walking faster than me. She can't put on certain things at certain times necessarily to hide that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's always somebody out here that's got it worse than you.
Right. You know, like there's that saying that they say that, you know, that there's people that cry themselves to sleep, you know, for the very things that you take for granted.
Yeah. You know, so I don't take anything for granted. Yeah, we go through a lot, but it's always somebody out here that's going through more. So at the end of the day, what I can tell somebody is, yeah, you're going to have your ups and downs. But as long as you're waking up every day, every new day is a chance for you to keep fighting and keep going.
I agree.
It's going to get better. It's going to get better. And one thing you have to remind yourself, this may be a permanent situation, but I still have so many other opportunities to keep going.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely.
Because some of us feel certain situations put a stop into our lives when actually they're opening more doors than we really realize. You know, so
thank you.
Have a little grace and be a little humble, girl, and gratitude all the time.
Right.
Yes, right. The gratitude.
Yeah. So I got a question for you. Were you religious when you first started the Crohn's journey, or did you find your faith in Crohn's disease?
So, I come from a religious family, was nowhere near as religious as I am now. And when I say religious, I do not go to church every Sunday, but I believe in God.
Yes.
I use God as my message to tell people, because I know that everything that I've gone through,
because
He has been the one to pull me through. You know, when you're laying on your back in them hospitals, you are allowed to open your eyes and look in that ceiling. It's just you and God.
Yeah.
If anybody laying there and they saying they just looking at the ceiling, they lying. Because that's your moment to yourself to say, how do I get through this?
Right.
You know, this last surgery that I had, I cried so much at night. I mean, the nurses, they would just, sometimes the nurse, they would just come in and sit with me. And it wasn't necessarily that I was afraid. I just had never been in that type of situation. You know, I went in to have 3 different surgeries done and turned around, had to have 2 extra ones done because I had caught an infection. And I ended up staying in there a whole month away from my son. And he's 12 now. So his understanding of it back when he was 2 and now is different, you know? So my spirituality with God is so deep. And I am big on, like last week, I called my spiritual advisor over. I said, listen, I need prayer, you know? And it's when you can own your own mess and you can hold yourself accountable, that's growth. You know, and you have to hold yourself accountable. Just like we can point the finger at somebody else, we have got to be able to point that finger back at ourselves.
Definitely.
You know? And one thing I can say is I don't ever want to give a person an image that I don't have, that I just have highs and I don't have lows. Right. And I never want anybody to think that I'm doing this alone, because the man upstairs is the one that keeps me going. And whether you are a believer or not, I'm going to always show you that my faith is way stronger than my fears. I'm human. I'm falter. I cry. I question. But at the end of the day, I am going to pull myself out by telling God, I know you got me. And so over the years, I have made myself grow closer to God through my adversities, because there has been a million nights I'm by myself and who else is there to talk to? You know, I'm in here talking to myself, but the only one listening is God, you know, and we don't always see and get the answers that we want right away. But when we do,
you notice it was him.
Who can we say gave it to us? Because I didn't give it to myself, and wasn't no ghost. It better not be no ghost in my room. So who gave it to me? It wasn't nobody but God. So I gotta give the credit where the credit due. You know. So.
Yeah. Good question, CJ.
Thank you.
Yeah, CJ.
Don't put me on the spot. I was formulating.
Right. I know, like we're so. That's awesome. Well, cool. Well, I mean, we definitely appreciate your time today, Nicky. Like, before we let you go, how can people find you? Is there anything that you're working on? That, any projects or anything that you would like to, just share with the people out there so they can support you?
So you can always hit me up on Instagram at Nicky Rene 3. I'm also on Facebook as Nicky Rene, and I am now just recently lead ambassador of COCCI, and that is color of Crohn's and chronic illness.
Awesome.
That's at COCCI on Instagram, and you can find us on Facebook at color of Crohn's and chronic illness. So I'm looking forward to being able to network and connect with everybody,
Awesome.
So. We're looking forward to, and I know I'm looking for it myself. I know Georgia is too, definitely.
Renika, can you tell the people where they can find Crohn's Veteran at?
Well, since Jordan wanted me to tell y'all where we find Crohn's, you can find us at official.Crohn's Veteran on Instagram. 1. You can find us on YouTube at Crohn's Veteran. 2. 3, you can find us on Twitch at Crohn's Veteran. I think I said it right. 3 and 4. You can find us on our individual pages with CJ at Papura, like Jordan mentioned it, and Jordan at Crohn's Veteran, and myself, Renika, Crohn's _and_sexy. Did I miss anyone?
I don't think so. Yeah, just subscribe to us, support us. Become a member. Check us out on YouTube, Anchor, Google, and Spotify. And of course, www.crohnsveteran.com. So again, Nikki, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. You gotta get me one of them sweatshirts.
Right? Yeah, definitely. Let us know.
Represent.
Definitely let us know if you want one. Reach out to us and we can make. We can work with you. So
definitely.
Yeah. So you enjoy the rest of your night over there, and and have an awesome week. Thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
All right. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.